So right now in the process of painting Crustina, things are getting a little bit repetitive. It's really important to me, and I want to make sure that my videos do not look that way. I don't want to just keep showing you priming this and priming that. So in this video, as I am doing that, I want to get a lot more focused on one thing. That one thing being the back bumper. I know some of you guys are going to love it, some of you guys are going to hate it, and I do know I'm going to do it anyways.
And now, you're watching the Leaving the Chinese Buffet with My Pockets Not Empty channel of YouTube. Welcome to BodeVision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much as always for joining me on another video. So right now, stuff is getting a little bit crazy. There are parts everywhere. As you can see, we got the upper parts of the fenders, the hood, the bumper, the lower fenders, side skirts, mirrors, front lip, this, that. You're getting, okay, I'm not Oprah, so we're gonna get moving. So I'm gonna do that a little bit later on. So I don't know if you guys know this, but yesterday, if you saw Zosh's video, or I don't know if he posted that yet. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Either way, yesterday he dropped off this back bumper for me. So he's gonna actually have one regular bumper and one cut bumper, and he can rock it however he wants to and do whatever he wants because it's his car. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I wanna get that bumper put on the car and kinda figure out where I wanna make my cut at. So I put the bumper on, and as you can see, I pulled it right off again because I forgot I needed to slow down, back up a little bit, and make some measurements and do some reference points so that way I can make the bumper look nice and even and have the cut exactly where I want it. So on the side right here, I want to make sure the bumper is cut lower than this because I think this looks kind of ugly. So I want the line to come somewhere in here, and this is not definite. I'm not too sure yet. So what I did first is I measured from this point down to the ground, and then I did the same thing over here. I did this point down to the ground, but then I realized the car is not actually sitting level side to side because of how my floors are. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna ditch these. So then I did from this point up. So from this point up is about 7 1/4. 7 1/4 is actually 7 2/8 because 1/4 becomes 2/8. So I wanted to do just a little bit more. So that's why I'm going with 7 3/8 from there to there. So it'll throw me down 1/8 of an inch more. Coming around, and then the same thing here. From this line, 7 3/8 is where I want the bumper to fall again, because from there to there is 7 1/4 or 7 2/8. So now I'm gonna get the bumper thrown back on because also the logo, that Integra logo, is also a factor because Zosh wants to make sure that we keep that logo. So as long as that is above that 7 3/8, we're gonna be all good. If it's not, we're gonna have to reevaluate a little bit. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm waiting on Percy to get back to me to give me the final word on it. I'm thinking I might want to cut a little bit more, but at bare minimum, we're gonna go with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it pulled off, put it on some sawhorses, and then go for that cut. So a couple things that you got to consider when you're doing this, if you're doing this, is number one, if you're just using an angle grinder like what I'm using. An angle grinder is not really known for precision cuts. You just got to be real nice and easy with it, and then kind of refine those cuts a little later with some sandpaper. I just use an 80 grit on my DA, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But also, you got to make sure your face is covered. That's why I had those glasses on. Well, I started off with goggles, but then I couldn't see very well, so then I just put on some glasses, and then I have my mask and the headphones because, as you can see, that plastic gets everywhere. It's gonna get in your hair, it's gonna get all over your face. It's really nasty stuff, so just make sure you're protected really well with that. And then moving over here, let's see what it looks like. So there it is. And then also you can see on the side, that's like a nice height. That's exactly how we wanted it. Coming around, license plate will still bolt up perfectly fine. And then over here, so that's looking really good, and as you can tell, it looks really nasty, so I want to just go ahead and pull it off again. This process requires a lot of putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, and then cleaning it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, clean the edges, and then we'll go from there. That cleaned it up tremendously, using the 80 grit on my DA, and then afterwards I just came back with a fresh razor blade and tried to knock off some of those hairs to refine it that much more, to make it that much more smooth. And honestly, it came out a lot better than I was expecting. It's a nice clean edge, if you can see. So that's looking really crispy, that's looking really fresh, that's looking perfect. Now I wanted to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that if you do this on your car, I've seen this many times and nobody gets a perfectly straight cut. There's gonna be a little bit of wobble to it. So if you do it and it looks a little funny, don't get down on yourself, because that's how it's always gonna look, unless you had a gigantic, I don't know what kind of saw that you could use to get a perfectly straight cut when you're working with plastic, and especially around the bumper. Maybe if you had a gigantic belt sander, you could just sit the bumper on it, but that's getting ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do now that it's looking really good, I wanna throw it on the car one final time, check it out, and then that's going with the rest of the pieces. Then that's just generic stuff. Get it sanded down, primer, base coat, clear coat. The rest of that not so interesting stuff. So I am definitely happy with that. For this car being a track build, everything on the car screamed track. And also keep in mind there's going to be that rear diffuser or splitter, whatever you call that, down there below, and that's going to look really good as well. Also, another thing that I was thinking I was going to do, you know, around the hood of the Hellcat Swap Miata, I'll put the video right here so you can check that out after this video is over. But anyways, I put this little trim around that edge so it's not just paint and then falling off to nothing. It's a nice little black rubber piece that makes it look really nice. So that's maybe what I'll do here. That way it'll be green, then that black trim, and then that'll be it. And then that'll look really good. So overall, for this whole entire process, let me know if you had any questions. Let me know what you think about it. And again, if you're not a fan of it, oh well, it's his car. So that's gonna be it for this one. I gotta get that off, gotta get that primed, gotta get that ready to go. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe. Check out the Facebook, follow me on Instagram. Both of those are just BodeVision. It's a Facebook page, it's my Instagram. Anyways, I'm leaving, I'm out. Thank you so much for watching. That's it.
All you need to know.